Alright everybody, and hello, welcome back to another film review. It's been a while, but today we're going to be reviewing Zack Snyder's Justice League, this 4-hour slobber knocker of a film. And I'm going to tell you, was it worth it? Was it a good film? Was it better than the original? What are the details? That's what I'm here to tell you now. So, let's do the film review. Yes. Alright, first things first, the scores on it so far are 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 54% on Metacritic. So, pretty high scores in general of the film to go with. Now, here's the thing with the film. I'm going to try and avoid spoilers because the film has recently just come out for purchase. So you can buy it on like YouTube, Amazon Prime, or something like that if you wanted to. But since it's only been out for a month, I feel like it's not worth me spoiling it for people because I only saw it recently as well. So we are just going to be focusing somewhat on the plot, but I'm not going to give you all the plot details. This will be somewhat spoiler free. So it's going to start off. So the way this one's working is parts. So it literally starts off with Batman talking to Aquaman about trying to recruit him, give him the whole deal like in the original film. And Aquaman's like, yeah, I'm not really sure about that, mate. And it'll come up with like part one, something to do with Batman. I think there's like 5 parts in it or something. It's a good spread out. And the thing to note about this film, it doesn't get boring. Like, even though it's 4 hours long, it's not a film that gets boring. I can see maybe some stuff was worth cutting out on extra, but all this extra detail that you get doesn't increase the film and make it nicer. Another part of the film after, I'm not going to go through plot by plot, I'm just going to give you the main bullet points, and I feel like that'll be a bit easier than me trying to go through the whole plot. You can change it up a little bit. Another plot point that was very important is that's basically the same. There still are 3 mother boxes in the film, and they do all still get taken by Steppenwolf this time. First of all, though, when they get taken in Wonder Woman's land, Amazonia, they can't beat him. There's a bit more details to each fight and what happens there. They still shoot the arrow to let Diana know, and when Diana speaks to Bruce about it, she gives basically the whole backstory on Steppenwolf and Darkseid. So Darkseid is like the main villain of this, and that you can see that through the film because Steppenwolf is talking to a guy on behalf of Darkseid. So he's like the big bad of the film, the Thanos of the DC universe, if you will, if you don't know who Darkseid is. So he's the main bad guy in this film. Well, Steppenwolf is still the main bad guy. He's just like the big bad that you have to worry about. So he still beats Diana's people. There's still a scene for Diana, Wonder Woman. The bank robbery scene, she still stops that scene completely. And when she speaks to Bruce about the army, she's like, the guys in the sky, meaning the lanterns, the Atlanteans, the Amazonians, and the humans, they all fought together to finally beat him. This is the first time that anyone's ever beaten him before. So Bruce still tries to find a team on that. You get a lot more detail on this. It cuts to another like cyborg image now, so it talks a lot about Cyborg's story, how his dad wasn't there for him, and what he did with one of the mother boxes to fuse his son Victor into Cyborg. So you get a lot more detail on that Flash on Cyborg, but you do get more detail on the Flash as well. You don't just get this one scene where Batman's just like, "You want to join up?" and he's like, "Yes." You actually get to see him in action first. A lot more speaking with his dad. You get more detail on his life, which is very, very interesting. There's so much detail gone into all of this now because everything, you just learn more about the characters, you get more depth for them. Even Aquaman on this story, once Steppenwolf tries to steal it from Atlantis, he has to basically step up and try and fight him. He doesn't quite win, but because the box still gets stolen, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, once Batman has his original team in the bit, so he has Wonder Woman and he has the Flash to start with. Eventually, Commissioner Gordon gets like messages to show that there's like these evil winged like creatures, and it's like images of the Batman. It's obviously not Batman. It's like these demonic bug insects guys who are working for Steppenwolf, like the evil minions. He goes to speak to Commissioner Gordon and says basically what's going on and everything that's happening there, and what he's going to do about it, and where like Steppenwolf's location is, and having how you're going to try and beat that. So in terms of when Steppenwolf comes to interrogate the people who've been near mother boxes, that's when all the guys attack, and but that's when Cyborg joins up because his dad was one of the ones who has been kidnapped. They fight him off. They're able to defend him a little bit. They don't necessarily win. They do quite well for themselves, but they don't quite win. And they manage to. They're trying to escape on Batman's machine until Steppenwolf blows up the pipes, and then Aquaman comes in to save him. There's a lot of detail on this film that I really like. So a lot of it is very similar to the original. It's just a lot of extension of characters, building them up, letting you know what each character is about and their stories to give you more depth to them, make you feel a bit more sorry for them, which is quite good. You get a bit more depth on Lois Lane as well. There's some scenes with Lois Lane that, I mean, we're in there. I don't think we're in the original film, but like give you a bit more depth to Lois and why she's important. Now, after they have the final mother box, they get to talking about Superman. They're like, these guys didn't come before. That's because Superman's alive. Superman was alive. Now he's dead. They can't. They know they can beat us. So they keep debating whether to bring Superman back to life. They're like, if we do though, this mother box will activate, and they'll send a signal, and Steppenwolf will know exactly where we are. So what happens then? What do they decide to do? Obviously, like in the original film, they decide to revive Superman. They do this thing. They get the box in the vicinity, and they basically get it all set up. But as they're doing it, Cyborg gets an image. So he's like getting the mother box ready, and what he sees is Wonder Woman and Aquaman dying in like a vision or something. That might just be a dream sequence, but you don't know yet. It gets done. They bring Superman back to life. You have the general fight scene. The fight scene is slightly different, not too big issues, but they separate a lot of the stuff that doesn't really need to be there and give you. Superman uses his laser eyes a lot more to show how strong he is because he's got laser eyes. Until Lois shows up, they go away. There's a bit of story there. He's speaking to Lois on everything like that. Then he has to try and figure out who he is, and then that's when he decides to like choose his brand new black suit to go with for when they go and fight Steppenwolf. So what happens is Steppenwolf comes after Superman fights, beats up the rest of the League, and he tries to get the mother box, whereas Victor's dad, Cyborg's dad, heats up the metal box hard enough. He has to sacrifice his own life to basically give an indication where this mother box is going to go, so then they know exactly where Steppenwolf's hideout is. That was a good scene. That I don't think was an original, but very emotional scene in terms of that. Now, this is where I'm not going to spoil too much. When they get to Steppenwolf, a lot of the fight's quite similar. They beat up a lot of his minions. They get inside, and they shoot, fight, until Cyborg's got these boxes. Eventually, he's holding them all. Barry Allen, the Flash, keeps running around like at hyper speeds, and he just needs to touch Cyborg. So he keeps doing that, and like his time is running out. They're running out of time to do it until the mother box is fused. But then Barry gets shot, and he can't go at the speed of light anymore. So the box is fused. You get an image of Darkseid about to come in until Barry decides, I need to go so much faster. So he goes faster than he has before to go back a bit in time just to touch Cyborg, so Cyborg can disactivate all the cubes, get Superman to help disactivate all the cubes. They then finish off Steppenwolf. Aquaman grabs him by a spear, lifts him up, Superman punches him, and as he's going back into the tunnel, Wonder Woman just cuts his head off. Darkseid decides probably not the best time to go quite yet, and does not. After that, that's basically like the whole, you've just won, essentially. sort of sequence, and then you get all their general uh, stuff afterwards, like Aquaman going home, Barry talking to his dad, Wonder Woman just looking at the fire up, like, yeah, we did it. Batman buying like Superman's house and deciding buying like a building for the Justice League headquarters. You get the Lex Luthor thing at the end, and then after that, you get like a bit of a dream sequence. I think it's like about 10 minutes at the end, 10-15 minutes of the Batman's like apocalypse dream sequences, and this was like a dream where if Lois Lane died, what would happen? And that's the dream sequence where Wonder Woman and Aquaman are dead in that situation. But Batman's with like a bunch of different people. He gets the Joker's talking about stuff, and you don't know what happens until he wakes up. He goes to his door, and he speaks to a guy called Martian Manhunter, telling him what's probably going to happen next. And that's where the film ends. Honestly, it's a very good film. I have wrapped it up. I don't want to go through. I do want to change it up and not go through every single plot point, and go through every little bit of the story, because I feel like that takes too long. But in general, honestly, a great film. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if this would reach my top 10 favorite films, or like be better than a lot of the superhero films that I think are the best right now. It still deserves a 9 out of 10 in my opinion, because it's a lot better than 9 stars, 8.5 to 9 stars out of 10 in my opinion, because I still think it's a great film. It's definitely worth watching at some point. So if you want to buy it, you can. It is available for purchase. I'm not going to force you to, but yeah, watch it. I think in terms of a change, it is a lot better than the first one. That is hands down, without question. It being so long though, it's not hard to watch because it's a long film, but I did like stop at points just to take breaks in between the film. But yeah, uh, hopefully all enjoyed this film review. Cinemas hopefully should be back soon, in like a couple months, and you will get a Black Widow film review. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll do some more stuff in the future. I'll update you another time. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Alright then, bye.